Auto Parts. Ow! That is O'Reilly Auto Parts' jingle. And as many of you guys may know, they play it on the radio all the time. And this is known to get the customer's attention. And a jingle and a slogan are both meant to get the consumer's attention, whether it's because they're trying to get you to do something or they're trying to get you to buy something. People in society are influenced a lot. And my reason for you guys to listen is that you guys are people in society. And as you watch YouTube videos, you watch TV, you go on social media, you see ads pop up all the time. And whether you may or may not click on them, they're there for a reason. Manipulative advertising has its impact on society, mostly because they manipulate the mind, they misinform the audience, or because they have existed in society for so long that it has changed society as a whole. I have the credibility that I do because I'm a witness and a victim of manipulative advertising. I've also done the extensive research on this topic on top of that. First, I will talk about how it manipulates the mind. Second, I will talk about how it misinforms the audience. And lastly, I will talk about its impact on society. Manipulative advertising has had an impact on society, whether it was because it manipulates the mind, misinforms the audience, or because it has existed for so long that it has changed society as a whole. Advertisements can manipulate the mind, and it can influence the consumer to engage, and many times the consumers don't even notice what they're doing, but those types of advertisements are there to get you to do something. Editor Remy Molina wrote in her 2011 article titled How Advertisements Seduce Your Brain. It talks about the logical persuasion and the non-rational influence that it takes on the mind. Logical persuasion is a depicting of reality, which means it demonstrates your reality or what many people believe is reality. Non-rational influence is the population's conscious and subconscious desires. This pushes consumers to spend lots and lots of money. Whether you watch an ad on TV, you call and order something, or you're scrolling through Macy's and you're trying to buy something, you are spending your money on these types of advertisements. Editor Geoff Williams, in his 2015 article titled 7 Tricks Advertisers Use to Make You Spend Money. Shipping and handling costs are always hidden. You don't know the shipping and handling until after you've added that item in your cart, which in many advertisements they don't include. This tricks the mind, and it's used as a tactic to trap consumers into thinking they're actually getting a really good deal, when in reality, they're not. Now that I've talked about how advertisements influence the mind, I'll move on to how the audiences are being misinformed. Misinforming a consumer can negatively impact the consumer and the company itself. Consumer trust can be broken and lost, and it's very hard for a company to bounce back from that. An expert at Federal Trade Commission in 2013, in his article titled It's All About Technique, a company can actually go to court if they don't have their claims be truthful. The law may state that a company has to have truthful claims. However, half the time, companies don't really abide by that rule. Company loses consumers and sales. Privacy professional Gabe Morazan, in his 2019 article titled How to Handle the Crisis of Consumer Trust, explains that once the trust is broken, it's very hard to regain. And due to that, a company does lose their sales. Now that I've discussed how the audience is misinformed, I'll move on to how history of advertising has had an impact on society. Advertising has existed for a while and has taken a toll on society. For a long time, the population has been a target. Editor Gillian Bigo, in his 2019 article titled How does advertising affect culture? It explains how the population is being targeted. You guys may not notice, but we are separated into sections based off of our interests. And this creates a force of advertisement on certain platforms that you guys do browse on. Propaganda is also known as being misleading information, and it has existed for a very long time. It has been known to be used in many important US and all over the world actually, to try and persuade the people that are looking at this propaganda. This is why advertisement is related to propaganda, because they both have the same goal at the end of the day. They are trying to persuade the person's perspective and their ideas in general. First, I talked about how the advertisement can manipulate the mind. Secondly, I talked about how the audiences are being misinformed. And lastly, I talked about the effects that advertisement has had on society. Manipulative advertising has had its impact on society, whether it was because it manipulates the minds of the population or because it misinforms the audience. And as well as because society has changed over time, the history of advertisement has gone along with that change. So, next time that you are on social media and you come across something that interests you, think about how that ad is trying to get into your head, what it's trying to say, and what its true intentions